What is up, everybody? We are back for another game recap. Texas rolls on through again against ULM. Arch Manning at the helm yesterday went 15 for 29, 258 yards, two TDs, two interceptions, 71 QBR. Jaden Blue led with 25 carries for 124 yards with three TDs. Page had 10 carries, 60 yards. Gibson, 9 carries for 32 yards with one touchdown. Um, Isaiah Bond led the receiving, 2 receptions for 75 yards. Golden, 1 reception, 46 yards. Wingo, 2 receptions for 42 yards. Definitely spread the ball around again this week with receivers. Had a lot of different rushers. Total 258 passing yards, 239 rushing yards for Texas. For Louisiana Monroe, not so great. General Booty was literal booty. 8 for 19 for 42 yards with one interception. Armena came in the game, went 3 for 6, 12 yards. Highest rusher was Curry, 6 carries, 30 yards, tied with Hardy for 10 carries with 30 yards. And then Nixon had 1 reception for 23 yards. Wells had 5 receptions, 19 yards. Moral of the story, Texas defense is still very, very solid. Still continue. They had 54 total passing yards, 57 rushing yards. To me, that's been the most impressive thing. You know, I tweeted about this, but remember when we used to worry about all these games? Like every week we'd be like, "Hey, I don't want to get caught." And sure enough, there would be a couple games, where we would
Kansas
let people
State last
just
year.
pile right in. And
Yeah.
now it's like it's not even a question every week. Now, let's not get carried away. We understand we're only playing very low totem pole games right now, including Michigan, obviously. But what did you guys take away from the game today or yesterday?
Dominant. Dude, that first quarter, our defense was just I was losing it. I was getting so excited. Like the Anthony Hill interception or pick six that got called back. Like that type of they were swarming. It just didn't seem like anything could be successful. And to see our defense go from what it was last year to being this dominant to where we've only allowed what's the total on the points that we've allowed so far?
I think it's 19.
Yeah.
I think 19 is the total.
I keep wondering if we haven't been tested enough yet. I mean, Michigan looked better yesterday, which gave me a little bit more confidence that we have played better talent. But the defense looks so much more improved since last year. I mean, it was the kind of the laughing point of our team last year, being ranked so low on defense, and for them to turn it around and just keep showing it week in, week out. I'm very happy with that side of the ball.
Yes.
For sure. Seeing the defense play well was nice. I looked at Blue getting going yesterday was a nice sight. We talked about that at the start of the game and in previous podcasts where we'd like to see some consistency running the ball, and we did it pretty well yesterday. I feel like Blue got going, some other guys got going as well. Arch did what he needed to do. The first interception was something you see from a freshman. It's just he got away from the sack and he felt the pressure from the next defender coming and knew he had to get rid of it, and he just threw it up for grabs. And then the second interception is just a tip ball. There's not a whole lot you can do with that. So, but I would have liked to see him be a little bit more accurate with some of his throws. What he was sitting at right at about 50% passing. There were some of those that I feel like he could have made that he didn't. But, overall, there's not much to complain about this game. Defense looked super solid. They never really got anything going, and we were able to spread the ball around on the ground and the air. So there's not too many complaints from me coming out of this game. I thought Arch managed well.
Dude, there were some spots where he was like throwing it into triple coverage.
I'm about to say, like, we're not going to allow him to get a free pass on all this. Like, He looked good, but the first interception, he's
I still
lucky.
haven't seen the first interception.
I
was struggling with the ESPN Plus trying to get it going.
Everybody, like DirecTV went out on us. Wasn't happy. But with Arch, my problem number one is, and we talked about this in our group chat too, is he's just staring at every target he's got. Like, you know exactly where he's going every time. The deep ball to Wingo, he underthrew him. He got bailed out by a pass interference call, but I mean, realistically, if he didn't underthrow that, I don't know if Wingo actually catches that ball either. I think we play better teams. That ball gets intercepted all day, and it sailed on him. There's a couple balls that would sail a little left or right. Just a hair, but I mean it's a yard or two, and it's a big difference. So I saw Sark talk about like a little bit was him, like he needed to call a little bit more slant plays, like get his confidence going a little bit more instead of just throwing the deep ball all the time. Now don't get me wrong, he looks good with the deep ball too, but
he's not scared to chunk it, man.
Oh no, he's not. There was one I was like, how high did he just throw that ball? Because it looked like he was just throwing it to the moon. But yeah, no, I'm not giving Arch a free pass. It is clear who is the QB1 in this on this team right now. Arch will be good, as we've talked about, but absolutely not. No, get your reps in now, because you're going right back to the bench the second Quinn is ready, and he knows that. Because I saw McAfee called. I guess was talking to some of his family members, and they said, "No, we understand. Like, you don't lose a job because of injury, and so when Quinn comes back, he has the team still." And I just can't. I walked away from that game, was like, he's got a lot to work on. Like, he looks good, but there was a lot to improve on. He looked like a Quinn of 3 years ago. Quinn was having trouble like really being accurate, and that's who he looks like right now. Which, here's the deal: 1 year with Sark coaching you, and all these coaches, the way they've done it with Quinn, my goodness, like he's going to be unbelievable. So absolutely. I don't know, but no free pass for me. Absolutely not.
I mean, exactly what you just said. I'm pretty sure if you go back and listen to some of our original podcasts, it would be spitting image of saying the same thing about Quinn, staring down receivers, not being accurate enough. So, it's those same mistakes. But like you said, keep him in that system, let him learn. But yeah, some of those passes, like you said, you're playing an SEC opponent. You're not going to get away with those.
Yeah. Seeing the spark of what could be is going to be like super exciting, but it's not getting out of ourselves. He's got a lot.
Well, I think it's good. Well, it's good with Quinn even being there too, because Quinn has been through that already, and Quinn knows a lot on how to control that and to help coach that also. So it's not just Sark and everybody; he's learning from Quinn too.
Yeah. Dude, watching Quinn on the sideline, still like amping up the team, and like
it was cool.
He was in coach mode.
Showing it was his team. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, it was cool him pulling the defense over there and kind of getting in the face of all the defense. You could tell all the defenders loved it too. They were all, into it, man. So yeah, it's super cool to see. It's crazy the hype this game got. Like they really blasted this on social media, and it's like, dude, it's Louisiana Monroe. Like the Arch hype was crazy on this game, though.
I think it's part of the problem, though. Our schedule has been so cake so far. It's like, I don't know what I mean, Mississippi State. I mean, we'll talk about that here in a couple days, because I watched a lot of that game film, that morning game. But these aren't going to be like playing Mississippi State. Yeah, they're not a good football team, but they're going to come at you, and they're the first team that's going to play us in the SEC. So they're trying to send a statement. Now, what statement they're really going to make, we don't know yet, and we probably already have an idea. But at the same time, it is, they're going to come in and try and prove a point of, hey, this is how SEC football works. And they're going to try and get in their head. So yeah, we've had a lot of easy games. But that's part of the problem for me, because we go Mississippi State and then we have a bye week and then we go to OU. So, we got to keep fresh and keep grinding the axe, because here pretty soon we're going to have some big swings with that axe.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to start scouting their new quarterback.
Yeah. We'll get to that. Another thing.
Oh, any chance of a surprise guest for next week?
Oh, yes. Worked on trying to get Mr. Brandon Walker from Barstool Sports. I messaged him last night. I was like, Brandon, I need 5 minutes. And he said, hell no, y'all are going to beat us by 70. So I wanted to make sure it was clear we weren't going to bring him on to talk trash, because we all know exactly what it's going to be. But I just, really wanted to get a SEC take on how the state of Texas is, their football program, and kind of how it's viewed from the outside. Now I know watching everything, he's a big fan of the way Texas is playing right now. So, but Brandon, if you
Jersey looked
happen,
good on him 2 weeks ago.
oh yeah, look, him and Big F. But Brandon, if you happen to be watching this, no, we're not going to make fun of you on this podcast for your football team. We probably still will banter quite a lot, but you join on anytime if you want to come on and make fun of A&M when we play them and get back at Casey. Then we're happy to do that also. But yes, so I tried. At least he was kind enough to respond. So
Yeah, for sure. That's cool.
Another thing in the game that you brought up, Jono, that'd be the next topic. Mr. Jaden Blue. What were your thoughts on him?
He looks like he got his step back, man. Like there's a couple of the runs that he had that I feel like the last couple of weeks, with him not playing, and then whenever he was in, he just didn't have that explosiveness like we're used to seeing from him. And I feel like he kind of got that step back last night. And there's a couple of runs he had that he really looked like he was ready to take it to the next level. So it's good to see. We needed somebody to kind of set themselves apart on that running back one position.
You may have had a couple too many, because halfway through you were showing me the stats and it was like he had, what was it, like 15 carries for like 30 yards at one point. He ended up turning it on, but yeah, it was like, okay. He did get going, but I mean, through the half, like he didn't look fantastic. Like I don't know if it was an offensive line thing or what, but he didn't have that breakout for that first half that he normally has. Gibson, same way. I mean, he had 9 carries for 32 yards. His longest was 8 yards. Colin Page came in. Now he was later in for the most part, but he had 10 carries for 60 yards with a 20-yarder. But I think it's funny because on Twitter last night, I remember somebody saying, Sark needs to start figuring out how to run the football and establishing that game. I was like, man, we don't care about like running the football right now. You're just going to get people hurt doing that. Like, let's get Arch his playing time. Let's get the field, the passing going, because we're not going to fall behind in this game. And we don't want to give that up later down the road. Like, we have plenty of run plays. Like, we have jet sweeps. We have everything we need in the run game. Now's not the game to go, we're just going to run it down their throats. Like, we don't care. Like, we know where we're at. To me,
I feel like that was part of why Jaden Blue didn't pop off more. I don't feel like they were they weren't really designing anything special for their run. It just felt like they were being very vanilla and sending people up the middle. And I feel like Blue shines when you get a little bit more going on and swing around to the outside, and that's when he really starts to show off his talent. So I don't know, but I think that's probably what slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if 52 carries for 239 yards and 5 touchdowns from the running back room at vanilla, I'll take it, man.
It is true. Also, I was incorrect earlier. We have 22 points scored against us. We had 12 against Michigan, 7 UTSA, 3 Louisiana Monroe. So the scoreboard for all 4 games is 190 to 12 or 22.
Wow,
190 points in 4 games is nutty.
That's crazy.
Dude, by the way, congrats. TJ was off by 1 point in the score prediction.
1 point. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm getting there now. I'm honing it in.
I was off by 2 last week, and you had 1.
That's right. That's right. Now we've got to get the perfect score. It's getting – I mean, these games are so easy to predict. I mean, coming up it'll be a little different. But anything else from this game that you guys had any takeaways from? Like, it was another par for the course game for us.
Like watching Taft come in with that big hit that got reviewed for targeting.
Yeah.
Need some more, not targeting calls, but laying the wood like that. I like seeing that.
It does seem like they're starting to lean a little bit away from, like, they're leaning towards the player side of keeping them in the game versus ejecting them. Now, I guess there was a bad one last week against A&M that they had called. But it seems like they're leaning towards the player playing more to make sure when it's egregious or not. So, anything else from this game?
No, I think I'm good. I think we kind of touched everything. It's good to see Anthony Hill have a great game. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's flying over the field, man.
Great
He's
first half.
sack, interception, tackles. I mean, he's really honing in back there in that position. It's good to see.
It was after last week when I was talking about he's just been like the silent, consistent piece of our defense, and all of a sudden he was just like going off in the first half this last game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Must have heard me.
Well, other scores around, and I know you see Mac Brown on there. James Madison absolutely mollywopped North Carolina to a point. I believe it was trying to find the game. It's not in top 25 games.
70 to
I can
50.
tell you that. 70 to 50 at halftime. It was like 52 points, I believe.
Dude, Zach was texting me in the morning trying to set parlays, and he kept talking about JMU. And I was like, what are you thinking this? And then, dude, he hit hard on that one. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was 53 to 21 at halftime. It was the worst. Even 25 points in the first quarter, 28 points in the second quarter, and then they let off the gas. But Mac Brown goes in the locker room and tells all of his players, "This is my fault. We haven't been ready. The team hasn't been ready. I'm done with this. I'm walking away." Said it to the players in the locker room. And then I guess an hour later, his border regions, whatever it may be, had a conversation with them. He said, "No, I was just frustrated in the moment. I'll be here Monday morning." But Matt got to a point to where he straight up said, "I'm done."
Dang, I didn't see all that.
Yes.
That's
crazy. Anything about that.
That's why I didn't tell you guys before. I just slid it in there because I was like, "Oh my."
Because I heard him come out and say, this is an embarrassing day for the university, a shocking day. They played that little clip last night. When I looked at the highlights, I didn't hear about that, man.
Apparently when he got to the locker room, he was talking to the players right after the game is when he said that. So
that's like unlike Mac,
Yeah,
that's not like Mac to do that. That's an embarrassing.
Just got to get the beat back in the box, guys.
I mean, James Madison, they only had 388 passing yards. North Carolina had 475 passing yards with 2 interceptions, 3 TDs. James Madison had 5 TDs passing. They had 2 TDs running. They ran 223 yards on them. Like that's a lot of football in one game right there. That's a lot of football.
Just to put it in perspective, James Madison had 13 points last week versus Gardner Webb. So
wow,
not
the offense
that we thought we were going to see. Obviously, I picked that game as one of my picks for UNC to cover, and it was an embarrassing loss across the board on my picks. We'll get to that later on, but
we'll definitely save that one.
I got some ground to make up.
Another game, that Baylor-Colorado game. Baylor has them where they need them. Sanders is at midfield, throws a Hail Mary. Why you rush 5 players? I have no idea what Baylor was thinking. Ends up giving up the touchdown. They go to overtime. Colorado
that Hail Mary
scores.
catch was insane.
The Hail Mary the Hail Mary catch was insane. The even more insane part was after Colorado scores, and then Baylor is running the ball, gets to the goal line with the ball, and Hunter just puts that helmet right into that football right before he crosses, knocks it out. Ball game. Colorado rushes the field, beating Baylor.
I hate it so much.
That's absurd. That's absurd, dude. When I saw that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I get it was an exciting game, an exciting fashion, the way they won, but it's like, it's Baylor, dude. Like, I don't know.
And Colorado fans were defending it, but it's like, bro, like I don't remember the last time Texas. I don't know if in my lifetime, I can't remember a time where we would rush the field. Like
I
even in
actually
big
looked it up
games.
last night.
Oh, did
1996.
Oh, jeez. What game was
Yeah.
that?
I forget what it was. It was we were an underdog to U of H.
Oh,
Houston. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That's funny,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Now, think about that now. Like, oh, hey, we came back and beat Houston. We rushed the field. Like, how we
Right.
would be slaughtered.
Did
Yeah,
you-
I'm tired of Colorado.
Oh,
I'm
I was excited. Like when the Hail Mary happened, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be funny. Everybody's gonna be so hyped about that catch, and then they're gonna lose in overtime." And I was like,
Yep.
excited for that to play out. Oh, I hated seeing it.
Did you see
Rushing
what,
for beating Baylor, dude?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. Did you see what the Baylor head coach said that the play
No.
call was? He said that his defensive play call on the final Hail Mary game is named the Victory Cigar. He came out and said that after the game. That's the
Why would
defensive
you?
formation.
Why would you say
And I was
that?
like, "What?" I was like, "Dude, that's something I would take to the grave." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not ever going to tell anybody that that's my
Yeah.
play call.
Yeah. Well, he was right. It just wasn't them, the ones that
Just-
were smoking it.
Yeah.
So that's
Dude, that
crazy.
safety. I don't know if y'all saw that highlight play from the end zone when they were filming, where everything's coming your way. Safety was just flat-footed in the end zone, like nobody around him. He just got caught back there, flat-footed, watching the quarterback, and you see the receiver come up on the side of him. Man, it was one of those things that it's just if he's paying more attention, man, that never happens. But
Oh yeah,
it's tough.
That
man.
throw was crazy though.
That throw was crazy though. Yeah.
Dude, also the throw just before that when he hit him straight in the chest and it just bounced off. It was a wild ending to that game, man.
Yeah, I'm so sick of the attitude from Colorado. Like, if you feel like you're the team to beat, act like it, because you had to come back to win that game against Baylor. Like, get off the train, stop showing me your watch. I'm so sick of the watch thing. Act like you've been there. I'm so sick of the cockiness. Like, you're not a team that everyone was like, oh, we got to go through them to get to the playoffs. Like, you're just not. So stop acting like it.
No, they're going to be loud this week. Don't worry.
Oh yeah. I'm sick and tired of it. Let me see. Who do they have next week? Let's see.
They got Central Florida next week.
That's gonna be a test for them too. Central Florida's not too bad right now.
Yeah.
All right. Other games around. We'll talk about the Friday game. Nebraska is not back.
They can't win close games, man.
Illinois comes out with a big one. That's tough going into that stadium too. That atmosphere is hype. Like, I saw videos of that from a helicopter view, and that place is loud and rowdy. Yeah, Nebraska's not there. Illinois looks decent. Being able to go on the road and get that win, Illinois looks really good. Nebraska's close. Like, I don't think they're a terrible football team by any means. I just think they've got some work to do. They'll win some
true freshman too. Everybody acted like he was already like the man, and I think he's incredible. But same thing with Art. Pump the brakes. There's going to be bumps.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think does Nebraska play Oklahoma this year or Michigan? No, they don't. At least not in regular season. I mean, they play Ohio State. They play USC, so that'll be a good statement game for them. They'll win a couple of those good games, but they also may lose to teams like Indiana. So they're kind of a flip a coin with that. But Nebraska falls down. Ohio State, boy, that score, the first quarter, like realistically, almost to the first half, like Marshall was playing with them. I was getting hyped, like, hey, good. Bring the biscuits, boys, get them in here. I was all in. Ohio State ends up just finishing out, but they're off this week, I believe. Ohio State is. In this coming up week, Ole Miss rolls over Georgia Southern. We'll skip over that game for a second. Missouri squeaks out a win against Vandy. This game went down to the very wire in overtime. No one scored any points in the fourth quarter. And then Vandy misses the kick to send it to double overtime. So I can't tell if Vandy is decent or if Missouri is just overhyped. I'm leaning towards Missouri's a little bit overhyped. That makes me nervous to go to Vandy now. You know,
I don't want to act like they're not playing well.
Right. I know. But Missouri is taking a little stumble. Someone who's not taking a stumble right now is Miami, going into South Florida and just steamrolling again. They are headed to the ACC championship. There's no doubt about that. They are a very good football team.
Yeah, it seemed like a good pick there.
Yesterday too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're steamrolling right now, and I don't think there's much competition inside except for one team, and that team would be nope. They don't play them. They'll play them in the championship though, which will be a very good football game. Clemson is coming back. Clemson looked pretty decent last week.
They did whatever they wanted in that game.
Yeah, I mean, you look up and they were scoring again. It was kind of crazy to see that. But yeah, they took their hit on the chin that first game, and now they are coming back full force, and they are running back over NC State. Talk about getting all the media hype at the beginning of the year and then just falling flat. Man. They were talking about
they're always such a fun team to watch, and they are just disappointing this year.
Oh yeah. Other games, that LSU UCLA game looks a whole lot bigger of a lead than what it really was. That game was close for a very long time, and UCLA is not good. LSU is just kind of fluctuating up and down of what they want to do, and they're trying to find ways to lose their games at this point. Sure, they won 34-17, but that game was a lot closer than it should have been the entire time, especially at LSU. LSU fans left in the second half. They claimed it was hot. But it's LSU. Why they're still? Did they drop? Let me see here. They went up to. They're at 14 now.
Oh, yeah, they're at 14.
Yep, they're at 14 now. So, they'll get their lickings coming in SEC play. Another team that dropped, Kansas State. Got smoked by BYU. BYU just did whatever they wanted to with them.
Not even close.
There's really the Big 12, because Utah, Oklahoma State played. Utah squeaks out a win, but Ollie Gordon is just missing. Can't find him anywhere.
It's crazy.
The last 2 weeks, I have bet a TD. One TD is all I need from you. In the last 2 weeks, he has failed me. It's unbelievable.
Doak Walker to irrelevant, man.
It's
crazy.
Yeah, he has not been good at all, and that offensive line is not helping him. His quarterback is not helping him. The quarterback is not good at all. There were so many interceptions thrown in that game on both sides. I can't remember how many. So two. They had two each, and one of them I feel like it was interception, and then another interception. It was like back to back to back in the same like series of swapping. So Utah, realistically, right now with the Big 12, in my opinion, it's Utah, it's BYU, and there's Iowa State, I guess. Those are the three I feel like are really the big ones to watch right now, because everybody else seems to be falling off. But again, it's a Big 12. We just when we were there, it's you eat your own kind at that point, and you kind of keep everybody out. So anything could happen in that conference. But
did y'all watch much of the USC Michigan game?
Yes, I did. USC. So first of all, Michigan.
USC's offensive line looks terrible.
Yes. And then at the end of the game, their defense forgot how to tackle.
Yeah.
I don't know how you let that happen towards the end of the game after you finally take a lead. Michigan, huge day in passing with 32 total yards in passing.
That's
Huge.
insane.
Michigan had more rushing yards than USC had passing yards at 283. 290 rushing yards for Michigan. Mullings, 159. Edwards with 74. But Loveland didn't even have a catch. I don't even know if he played because, I mean, they had one. Samaj Morgan had 3 receptions. Everybody else had 1. You had 4 of the receivers with 1 catch. You can't compete in the SEC with that. Like you're not doing anything in the playoffs with that. Yeah. It's just not going to happen, and that's shown with the defensive line that we had. Now, Big Ten wise, sure, I guess it's the most boring football of all time. But I mean, their quarterback had a 26.7 QBR and still went 7 for 12. Like that's crazy. Yeah. What do y'all have for USC?
Dude, I felt bad for Miller Moss. He was getting hit nonstop, man. I kept waiting. Like every time he'd stand up, he just looked like a cartoon character that's been hit by a car. Just like, it was a rough day. I finally thought, like, once they finally came back in the fourth quarter, like, I had money on the game, and I was waiting for USC the whole time. I thought they were going to win by like 15. And the whole time, finally they got the lead. I was like, all right, we're finally there. And I checked on another game, and all of a sudden Michigan broke one off and won the game, and I was just shocked. Crazy game. USC is not what I thought they were.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, USC. This was the game you had to win because your schedule gets easier going forward for a little while. Because you didn't win this one, sorry about you. Like I mean, it's going to be. But the problem is, who is Big Ten has a conference championship again, right?
Yeah.
Are they actually going to play it this year? So who is that going to be? Ohio State, Michigan? Like, who is Ohio State going to end up playing in the Big Ten? So Oregon, maybe? Like,
it's probably Oregon, probably Ohio State, Oregon.
But I don't think Oregon is.
Penn State.
I don't know. Yeah, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the year. Of we're about to see how the Pac-12 offense works versus a Big Ten defense and vice versa, because clearly their offense does not relate to Big Ten football, and Big Ten football on offense is ground and pound, and they do not have that either. So, yeah, I mean, sorry about you, Lincoln. I know OU fans, at least that was some saving grace for them last week was that Lincoln took the loss there too. We'll go ahead and talk about that one. What were y'all's takeaway from Tennessee, Oklahoma?
Good job, Tennessee. Good job, Tennessee.
I thought Oklahoma's defense actually looked pretty decent in that game. I mean, they kept them in the game. Tennessee's offense definitely wasn't the offense we've seen throughout this year so far. They exposed them at times, but god dang, man, that Oklahoma offense is horrible. Absolutely horrible. They could not do anything, man. And then the quarterback change at halftime, which is bizarre to me that you're going to pull the rug at that game at that moment. It just didn't seem like the right move. I know you're trying to get a jump start, for your offense, but it just seemed kind of bizarre to make that move at that time. But yeah, it's tough for them up there in Norman, man. It doesn't look like it's going to get any better offensively for them.
They think that Hawkins is going to be their savior. Like, Twitter has been nothing but, if he would have been starting all year, we'd be a different team already. Hey, it wasn't just your quarterback, by the way. Like, your entire offense is trash. You had 36 rushing yards. That doesn't require a quarterback at all. 36 rushing yards.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, now, a lot of that is because Arnold had negative 21 rushing yards. But, I mean, that guy got demolished. But they're thinking Arnold is the entire reason for their offense being bad, and it's not. Like your
Right.
whole offense is not good. Like let's just be clear on that. So Hawkins coming in isn't going to change anything. Like SEC wise, you're going to get run over if you do not have anything in the trenches, which you do not. So sorry about you, Oklahoma. You're about to be a bottom feeder very quickly. I don't know if their schedule. I don't know if they make a bowl game. Let's see. Auburn next week. That's going to be a difficult game for them. Then they go for at Auburn. They've got us 2 weeks after that. You got South Carolina, which is no slouch. Then you go to Ole Miss. Then you have Maine, a good break, and you got Missouri and Alabama and LSU. I don't know if they make a bowl game this year.
That's
rough, real honest.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule.
What sucks is their defense is actually it doesn't suck, but their defense is good. Like you can clearly see that. Like their defense is good.
I feel like that was what my takeaway from the game was. Tennessee isn't as good as I thought they were. Tennessee's good, but I thought they were better.
Yeah.
Well, I was expecting them to drag Oklahoma, which I mean, essentially it looked like that for the first half of the game. Like if you look at the scoreboard, but I expected them to walk them a lot harder with the hype that Tennessee's had so far, and just the highlight reel that I can't say his last name, Nico, has been putting up so far. I expected more, so I guess it just brought my expectations back down to reality and made me not think that they might be a championship contending team. I'm not saying that they can't. They are really good still, but it brought them down a peg in my mind.
I think they're up in the conversation. I don't think they're the elite level. I think that's right now. We'll see next week, and we'll make a determination based off Alabama, Georgia. I think Alabama steamrolls Georgia, but we'll see. But yeah, there's really not a whole lot of yeah. Welcome. A little teaser for
Thursday.
Pod. for Thursday. 2 more games I want to talk about. First of all, Northern Illinois fails against Buffalo. Buffalo comes in and spoils their party.
Cinderella is over.
Yeah, if they would have beaten Buffalo, I think they had a good run to be able to possibly make the playoffs. They still might, but I think that pretty much just solidified that. So it was good while it lasted, Northern Illinois. And then last but not least, Texas A&M with a barn burner against Bowling Green, 26-20.
I didn't watch any clips of that last night, but to prepare for today, I watched all the highlights of the game, and shocking.
Yeah. Bowling Green was able to get 250 yards passing, 1 TD, 1 interception. They were 89 yards rushing. They were 250 yards passing. A&M 173 yards passing, 2 TDs, no interceptions. 237 yards rushing. I don't know, man. I can't figure out A&M at all. This is at A&M. The hardest, quote unquote, place to play.
Yeah.
Around, especially at night. And here we go again. Like we're gonna let Bowling Green come in, who is 1-2.
Hey, props to Bowling Green though. They pushed Penn State in Happy Valley. So I think that was a 6-point game a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then they come into Kyle Field and push A&M to the brink too. So that's pretty crazy that team's able to kind of push some of these so-called big dogs to the brink.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did y'all see that running back that they had? He looked like a wider, shorter version of Deuce Vaughn. He was like
I didn't see that.
Little midget man. Well, he can move.
Little person. You can't say midget. Come on now.
Yeah, bro.
My bad.
I mean, you can say midget. It's fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Russia's not going to allow us to put that on.
He was very short.
Yeah, can't wait to. Just so everyone's clear, I've been putting together a hype video for the Red River game already, and I'm ready to release it, but I'm going to wait. But I am so ready for that game. What else? Let's see. We'll go over our
couple
picks
random
real quick.
games. I wanted to see what y'all thought about that SMU TCU game. I don't know if y'all saw the
Oh,
final
yeah,
score on
dude.
that, but 66-42. That's crazy, man. I feel like TCU's always kind of known for their defense in recent memory, and they just got torched by the ponies.
Big 12
it's
shootout.
funny.
Man.
I was watching. Yeah, I was watching. Now I can't even think of the morning show. What? Why can't I think? Game Day. And Saban picked TCU because he said SMU is still going through a bunch of quarterback situation. They can't figure out who they're going to want to play. So they did that. Blake Shelton goes, "That sounds right to me. I'm taking that because Saban picked it." And Herb Street goes, "Have you not seen Saban's picks for the last few weeks? He is not good at all." Shelton, of course, with the whole "I don't look at another man's picks" comment. But yeah, apparently Saban, great college football coach, not a great gambler. But yeah, he was all over TCU, and TCU I thought would bounce back a little bit after that tough loss the week before. But losing to SMU with that battle of Dallas Fort Worth is that's rough.
Yeah, that's.
Did y'all see Sonny Dykes get ejected?
Yeah, I did.
That was wild.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were chirping him real hard, and he just started applauding the crowd as he was getting escorted off the field. It's great.
It's hilarious, dude.
You know, I saw something on Twitter today that was it was a cold take, ice cold take that said Longhorns AD wanted Sykes, but there's a booster that was adamant on getting Sark. How's that working out for you? And this was like a 2-year ago tweet when Sark wasn't doing very well because of the record. We didn't have players. And that is an ice cold take now because I will take that hilarious. All day long. Can you imagine if we did not get Sark at this point? Like, we would not be having these conversations. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
What else? What other games? Let's do this. Let's go over picks. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I went 2-1 this week. I had Washington over Northwestern 10.5. That one won. I had Arizona State over Texas Tech +3. I was very wrong about that one. Texas Tech just decides to just keep coming back and playing. But I did come away with the big win of Arkansas again over Auburn.
Good pick. Big Arkansas guy.
So 2-1, big Arkansas guy. Let's be clear here. Arkansas will not be making the playoffs or anything like Washington did last year. Like, Seth was all over them because they were like, "Oh, they're a good football team." I don't think they're a good football team. I just know Arkansas football at this point. I know when they're going to cover. Seth picked Nebraska to cover 7.5. Nope. USC to cover -5 versus Michigan. Nope. And Tennessee to cover -7 versus Oklahoma. Yes. So you went 1 and 2.
And I thought I was taking some chalk picks
John
too.
we can skip this far, guys. Well, that's all we have.
No,
guys.
it's okay. I got them right here. It's fine. NC State to cover versus Clemson 20.5. No.
Almost had it.
Oklahoma State over Utah. That was the closest one.
Yeah,
and then you had UNC to cover JMU 10.5. No. 0-3. You moved to 3-9.
That's where I want to be.
Seth moves to 6 and 6. And I am in the lead now at 7-5. So now, there's the sky's the limit for me right now, boys. I'm not letting Jono come back again this year. It's not going to happen.
Locking in now.
That's right.
Dude, my picks all weekend, gambling wise, everything. I was off all weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a tough week.
I'm giving up gambling until next week. Did y'all know this fun fact? Nebraska has not scored in any game in OT in the last 8 games they have played. They have not scored crazy. 1 point in OT.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a bonkers.
Which stretches back how far? Because overtime games are how often? How many years does that go back?
I'd have to look it up. I saw the thing. I'll have to verify how far that goes back.
It's probably 7 to 8 years.
It's just
You get more
easily.
than one a year? Not likely.
That's crazy.
The last win in OT came in 2014, 10 years ago.
Mm.
No.
That's crazy. Yeah. So what we thought was going to be another semi-boring week did not turn out to be the case. I think there were a lot of teams that showed exactly who we thought they were, and there were some that kind of stepped up a little bit. I think Michigan decided to start playing for a little bit of football, of their brand of football now. Their defense definitely stepped up in that game for them. Nebraska, kind of where we thought they were going to be. Yeah, it was a kind of a generic, like, yeah, this is what we kind of expected. I'm ready to see Ole Miss play somebody.
Yes.
I don't feel like they've played anybody.
Yeah, same.
Dude, I was looking at that with Jaren a couple weeks ago, and I was like, dude, everyone kept talking about us having an easy schedule. They have the lightest schedule I've ever seen, man.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah. Anything else you guys got for the recap of week 4?
Happy to still be humming along and no significant injuries right now.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of injuries, throw it in real quick. Did y'all see Perkins for LSU, top-ranked linebacker that they have coming into the draft this year? They announced today he tore his ACL in that game.
Oh, for
So
real?
it's a huge loss for LSU with a guy that was supposed to be a first-round draft pick. So I just read that a few minutes ago.
Harold Perkins is a monster. That's sad.
Yeah, man, he is.
Now I'm starting to bite my tongue because I want to start talking about next week, but I'll wait. I will wait. Cowboys
will be fun,
suck. Texans suck. We get to see that battle, and that's probably a couple months from now still. But it's like November. It's the day. It's 2 days after the Arkansas Texas game.
Oh yeah,
it's a Monday night, so we'll get to play Battle of
fun.
Texas in the NFL too. So
that'd be fun.
Other than that, just got back from the Ranger game, last home game of the season. Rangers pull out the dub in the ninth inning. All of you complaining about, we give up this player for Max Scherzer. Why are we making these moves? Shut the hell up. I don't care, because guess what? I still got one of these, boys. Okay? Still got one of these, and you can't take it away from me. So all you bandwagon Ranger fans, go join another team, because I don't care. I'm still a champion until November. I'm reigning champion. So I'll pull the Dave Portnoy card right now.
I was about to say it.
I'm so sick of these Ranger fans, these bandwagon fans out here complaining about every damn thing. No, take a hike. I'm sick of you. There's my soapbox for the week.
I like it.
Get it off your chest.
And screw Houston, all of you. So, yeah. All right, boys. Well, until midweek when we talk about Mississippi State, we'll see you then. Hook 'em, boys.
Welcome.